Welcome to Module 1, Lesson 2. We're going over graphs of functions. Specifically, we are going over using our graphing calculator. So if you don't have one, you definitely need to get one before you can do your homework. Nothing to prepare for this lesson from previous lessons, but we have quite a few learning objectives. We need to know how to edit the viewing window and know what a standard viewing window is and how to get there. We need to be able to graph equations in our calculator, know how to either use the table or trace functions to complete a table of values, how to find a max and min, which I think your homework's going to call turning points, and to create scatter plots and apply real world information. So it sounds like a lot. It's going to be a lot, but we're going to be using this stuff the entire class. So you need to be familiar with how to use your graphing calculator effectively. Guessing you've already used this QR code, so thank you for joining. But as a reminder, you can pause and rewind as often as you need. So what I actually would suggest is maybe watching the video and watching me go through how to use the graphing calculator, pause, and then try to do what I just did before you move on. But you definitely want to make sure you have a graphing calculator and that you are following along or pausing and mimicking what I do. Make sure you can do everything. And then lastly, you need to look at your course schedule or calendar to see when this lesson's homework is due. In this intro video, I actually want to go ahead and just jump right in to our notes. On that very first page, you have a diagram here, and you can kind of see I put little boxes down here what all of these buttons mean. So these didn't come out super clear, but they match exactly these buttons here. So whether you have just a TI 84 or the 84 plus CE, all of our graphing buttons are these right here up at the very top. So I don't want to read these word for word because you can read them. But when we graph, let me turn this on first. So sorry. Okay, when we graph, first thing we're always going to do is hit this y equals, and this is where we'll type in any of our equations. So I'm going to go ahead and clear these off. And if you have anything there, go ahead and clear them too by just hitting your clear button. So y equals gets you to this screen here. Now, when you type in variables, we're going to be using this xt theta n button, and that's how you'll get your variable of x. So even if it has a variable of t or any other variable, you're always going to use this button here. We're always going to use x. Now, these two buttons here, this window and zoom button, are going to be very crucial. If you just hit window, you can change whatever your viewing window is. So here my X min is -70 and my X max is 20. So if I hit graph, that starts at -70 and goes to 20. And then it looks like my Y is -10 to 10. So -10 is my lowest Y value, 10 is my highest Y value. You have different zoom options here that we're going to get familiar with. When I hit zoom 6, we're going to be using that one quite a bit. We're also going to be using zoom 9 quite a bit for regressions. And then we're going to be using zoom fit as well. So 6, 9, and 0, we're going to be using quite a bit in this class. And those all have to do with the window in which you're graphing. Then trace is going to be very helpful, and we're going to get into that into the lesson. But trace, you can plug in a certain X value and it will give you the Y. Or if you hit second trace to go to this calc right here, we're going to be using quite a bit of these. So we're going to be using 0 in this class, min and max in this class, and actually in this lesson, we're going to be using min and max. And then we're going to be using intersect quite a bit as well. And then lastly, after you type in your equation to y equals, so let's just say I want to type in x, then I'm going to come over here and hit graph, and that's what graphs my equation that I just put in. Another useful thing that we're going to be using, if you hit second graph, here's all of my table of values, and we're going to be using this often and in this lesson. So that's kind of a little review, or I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but an overview. That's what I'm looking for. That's an overview of all of these graphing functions that we're going to be using not only in this lesson, but a lot in this class. So before we start graphing, I want to go ahead and clear our memory before we start this lesson. So honestly, if you just follow these buttons exactly the way they look, that is how we're going to clear it. But we're going to hit second, which is right here below y equals, then our plus button. Now hit 7 because what I want to do is reset. So I'm going to hit 7. I'm going to arrow over once to the left to go to this all. I'm going to hit 1 for all memory. And I'm going to hit number 2 for a reset. So you should see resetting all, and then eventually you will see that our RAM is cleared. So once you get to that RAM cleared, go on to the next video.